The Skip Barber 2K World Cup moves to Sebring for another round in the championship as we move ourselves further on that journey, which features some of the world's greatest Skip Barber drivers. Coverage will start next, here only on RaceSpotTV.
The NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing.com has officially begun.
In the outside, contact made, 56 slides it in at 4, who's going to be at the stripe, dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Three rounds are scored complete so far in this season of the Skip Barber 2K World Cup on RaceSpotTV. Is welcome you to coverage here from Sebring International Raceway. Qualifying has just got itself underway as drivers again have themselves 2 laps to go as fast as they absolutely possibly can. Well, coming into this event, this is how the championship standings looked like, and well, it's Philippe Labeur currently leading the way in the championship with 98 points. Ludwig Giddy is currently 18 points back with 80. Ricardo Ferrer a further 2 points back. And then it's a bit of a jump down to Brian Dow. He's in P4. Daniels, Cantor, Superan, Anatole, Nassi, and Avery. They round out your top 10 as we are now here at Sebring International Raceway. Where track conditions, well, air temperature is 71 degrees Fahrenheit. You've got yourself a wind of 11 kilometers an hour, so it is windy out here today. Relative humidity of 46%. And the skies is partially cloudy here in Florida. Well, here's a look then. Qualifying times will come up in a couple of moments' time. We're right on board with your series leader. That is Philippe Labeur as he works himself onto a lap right now. This is his first lap. We'll have one more after this. We'll get those qualifying times up in a couple of moments' time. There you can see they'll come up on your screen that left-hand side for you. These drivers now continuing to work themselves around the Sebring International Raceway. Rob Adams will come past the start-finish line first. They can see a look at him right on board as he worked himself out of Sunset Bend down towards the start-finish line. . 。 Well, Rob Adams, he does himself a qualifying time there of 2:26.727. You can see it's ready. Then Schutrus is currently pole position. These drivers now all turning himself past the start-finish line. And it is going to be, let's have a look where Burr is. This is going to be interesting as he's down all the way in P number 19. He's actually come back out of the final corner now. So let's get a look at his first qualifying time as he heads himself towards the stripe then. 2:25 to be. He probably won't do it on this first lap. It's going to be a little bit close at the line. 2:25.8. No, 2:26.143 there for Burr as Miko Nassi goes to pole position for the time being. There you can see Siton Shortrus in the number 135 car. His qualifying looking as though it's done. Miko Nassi through turn number 1. He's working himself onto a second lap. The Nassi now down in towards the complex, which is turn number 3 and 4. This is the slowest part of the racetrack by far. It's very technical. You've got to make sure you don't use too much of the curbs as Daniels moves himself up into third place in qualifying for the time being. They can see a look at Matthew Daniels now working himself through corner number 1 in that number 3 car. Down he now comes in towards that turn 3, 4, 5 complex. Well, there's another look at Miko Nassi. Let's ride on board with him then as he works himself down into the hairpin. Out he comes, and now it's that run down into that famous turn number 10. This is where you can get yourself plenty of passing opportunities in the race. Nassi up to a top speed of 175 kilometers an hour, up to 180 kilometers, 185 as he gets to the braking zone here. Flicks it down to the right hand side. Immediately you've got to settle that car as it wants to now turn to the left into a double apex left-hander. It's very tricky, this section of the racetrack, and you've got to make sure that you get it absolutely picture perfect, and that is what Nassi is doing right now, as he's now pretty much going to go flat out for a while as he runs himself through Tower Corner down towards the S's. And well, with Nassi so far, he's been good in qualifying. We've seen some flashes of brilliance from him before. Your top 20 drivers have now each done themselves at least one qualifying lap here at Sebring, and the track measures 3.6 kilometers over, sorry, 3.6 miles overall, and it's now Le Mans corner, turn number 15 and 16 that he's heading himself into. Nassi working himself now down the almond straight away. We've got more drivers that will come past the start finish line again. You can see a little bit of moving and shaking going on. One more time as Reddy come past the start finish line. Qualifying time for him 2:25.577. A little bit more movement. Matthew Daniels, you can see working himself back end of the racetrack. You can see also you've got yourself a bit of a slow first lap. We talked about him earlier. Was that driver of Philippe Burr? He is currently scored outside of your top 5. That is not what he wants. In fact, he is all the way down in P number 26 right now. Towards the start finish line he comes. Can he improve on his time as he works himself towards that stripe? The answer is going to be yes. Provisional pole position now for Philippe Burr. No, it won't. It'll be second place, actually. I'll take that back because Miko Nassi has gone faster. Nassi will claim pole position. Here you can see Mayo Reddy in the third place as he now works himself up towards the hairpin. So Nassi, brilliant lap by him. 6 tenths per second faster than anyone else in the field. So yourself for Himatinides, he's working himself down towards the hairpin in that number 43 Sahara Falls India car. Then you've also got yourself Edward Cavalier. He's working himself past start finish line. Can he improve? P number 22 is where he was. He will remain in 22nd place for the time being. You've also got Joey Miller working himself out of the final corner now. This is in that number 50 machine as he heads himself through Sunset Bend, working himself towards his stripe. 2:27.1 was his last lap. Let's see what he can do as he comes towards the start finish line. It will be a 2:27.5. So Joey Miller will start this race in the 22nd position. As in fact, he won't start any lower because no one else behind him in qualifying is scored on the racetrack. You've got yourself still Atinides on a lap. You've also got Mayo Reddy now working himself down towards that turn number 15 complex. Right on board of him then, down in towards turn 15. But out he comes then. He's currently scored third place in qualifying. The gap between himself and the race lead, qualifying leader was a huge 6 tenths per second. We'll go then, have a look at his speed, up to 180. No, he's going to pull off. That's it. He's not going to need to improve, so it looks as though it will be the driver of Nassi on pole position. Just waiting now for Atinides. One more corner to go. Can he spoil the party for Miko Nassi as he works himself down into that final corner now, riding it along with Fahim Atinides. What can he do in that number 43 car as he heads himself towards the stripe? The answer is going to be he is, well, a little bit slow there through Sunset. Very slow through Sunset. pushing very wide. You can hear the tyres squealing for life. And oh dear of mercy, out of the final corner he comes. Will he be able to improve? Mahim Atinides past the stripe, won't get the lap in. So, well, he misses the cut there, so he won't get that lap in. Let's run you through your starting grid for this tonight's event. It will be Miko Nassi starting today on pole position, qualifying time of 2:24.960. Philippe Leber over 6 tenths per second further back. Mayo ready in third, and then Matthew Daniels on the outside of row number 2. Heading on back, it's Rob Kane in P5. Sten Sourcelos in 6th position. Kevin Vaughan and Ricardo Ferrer in P7 and P8. Then rounding out your top 10 is Bart Hoogmu and then Feybolt Subaren. A little bit further back, you got yourself Yunus Purka in P number 11, David Williams in 12, and Paul Malocos in 13, Brian Dowell 14, Rob Adams, David Stefani, Destin Kissinger, Peter Clayson, Johan Hellberg, and Marcel Cedar rounding out your top 10. Top 20. There is a look at the back end of your field, as it's going to be a total of 28 drivers who showed up here today at Sebring International Raceway. And at the front of the field, well, it's been an entertaining little battle here, as we'll have a look to see. Will Philippe Leber be finally able to get himself something sorted out in the race? He's had himself some miserable luck there as we zoom our camera in, just waiting. It's the calm before the storm right now, as we're just showing you the live photos of the drivers on the grid as they get themselves to go racing here today at Sebring International Raceway. They'll be going in about 30 seconds time, realistically. So just waiting for the last couple of drivers, waiting for your pole position driver, Miko Nassi, to head himself now down to the starting grid. A couple of drivers are still sat there on pit road, waiting to get into their race cars. Williams now takes his spot on the grid, waiting for Hogemead, Nassi, and Warren Landman. As now Nassi is on pit road, you can see the last drivers now taking their spot any moment now. 17 laps worth of racing will begin here at Sebring. Those engines are revving, and this, the 4th round of the championship, will start right now. As you can see, your front end of the grid working himself down towards turn number 1 for the first time. It's a very good start there by Nassi. You're going to have Leber alongside him as they come down into that first corner for the first time. But who would it be? Well, the answer is going to be very simple. It's going to be Nassi leading the way. Let's have a look at your fields. They all storm down in towards turn number 1 then. And they got themselves a little bit of too-wide racing through your pack. Oh, we've got a driver going very, very wide there on the exit of corner number 1. But they do all make themselves through. And there's still 3 wide as they come down in towards that turn 2 complex. We get a look then from high above. And look at the bunching that's going on there down in your mid-pack. You've got a driver off, rear end of your field, as it looks like everyone is going to just about make it through. The next tricky situation will be as these drivers now head themselves down in towards the hairpin, turn number 7 on the racetrack. But out front, it has all been about Miko Nassi to start this race. A little bit too wide going on, a little bit further back. We're right on board then with the driver of David Williams. He's going down to the inside of that that RaceSpot car. He moves himself up into the 11th position. Just ahead of him is that driver of Yunus Purka, currently scored in the 10th place in the Glacier Racing car. Out front, it is still Nassi leading the way from Leber, from Daniels, from Reddy, from Swordfire. So they are your top 5 drivers as they come down to, this is turn number 13 they're just about to work themselves into. This is Collier Corner turn 11. Now that flick into turn 12, and then they work themselves down into that turn 13 corner. Well, ourselves, one driver didn't start the race, that was Warren Landman. Everyone else is still circulating on the racetrack. And there's a look from my aerial coverage once again to show you how tightly bunched up this field is. They now head themselves down towards this ultra fast section of the racetrack through Bishop, then down into Le Mans for the first time. As we're right on board with that driver of Mayo Reddy in the number 194 car down in towards the S. You can see it's a bit of a breakaway out front. Reddy currently scored at 7 tenths per second back from this top 3 drivers who are starting to pull themselves away as a cone just getting kicked up there. Just behind there is Stadium Schwanhorst as they come down in towards the final corner for the first time in this event. We're going to cycle that camera around and let's see, will Storhorse be able to get himself past? It'll be side by side in towards Sunset Bend, and you can now move, staying up 1 position, but not for long, because Reddy's going to push very, very wide actually. It's a corner where you can take so many different lines, but Reddy will for the time being be able to keep that position, but a slow run out the corner means that in feed, that number 135 car will move himself up 1 position on the racetrack. Got ourselves a little bit of close racing going on down in your mid-pack. We did hear Maybe one driver coming on towards pit road. That is going to be Rod Adams by the looks of it. Is going to come on towards pit road on the first lap of this race. You can see got himself a broken up race car. Let's try and figure out if we know what happened to him then. But Rob Adams struggling right now. He's classified all the way down your field, and he was banning it out down into Sunset Bend at the conclusion of lap number 1. Let's get a look from above and try and figure out what happened to him as they work himself down in towards Sunset Bend. Does he get hit? Yes, he does. But a 171 car turned around. 3-4 drivers involved there down in Sunset Bend. Big incident. And well, it's shame that the pit exit was right at pit exit, because otherwise this race might have gone under caution. But as it stands right now, that driver of Rod Adams is on pit road. He's got himself a service. They can see him back out onto the racetrack. Out front, it's Miko Nassi still leading the way, though, from Philippe Leber. The gap currently classified as 3 tenths per second. So have a look from the rear of Nassi as they work themselves down. This is going to be into turn number 10. Now they'll go through those flicks once again, through Collier into 11, 12, and 13. This wonderful complex of sequence of corners on your north end of the racetrack. And just having a look actually through your field a little bit, you still got yourself a nice little scrap going on. This is between Bart Hogemead, Jonas Purka, David Williams, battle for P number 9, 10, and 11. Let's look from the rear then of Bart Hogemead. So work themselves now down through Bishop Corner. Once again, you can see Purka isn't able to close too much, but he does get himself a good run actually through Bishop. This might give him the opportunity. No, he will stay in line as they come down into the S's of turn number 15 and 16. So he remains where he is for the time being. Further back, we've got ourselves 2 wide racing going on. This is between the number 72 car of Paolo and also Johan Haldberg. This is about for P number 23, P number 24. As we just cycle that camera around of Johan, you can see he's got himself nice clean air behind him, but he's trying to put that pressure on Paolo Zeroni as we've got a scrap for position going on ahead as well. And this is Stain Sorko trying to do the same thing he did 1 lap ago. That's actually going to be though on the outside this time. Car upside down, 20 car planted into the wall there. That's Rob Kane, who's just been planted. He was 45 degrees perpendicular to the racetrack. It looks like his race is done. Big incident there, and we'll get ourselves another look at that. Well, here's another look then from Rob Kane as he comes down in towards Sunset Bend in that number 20 car. Comes down into the corner, tries to dive down to the inside, and then, well, that car just gets turned 45 degrees, pushed upside down hard into that wall there. Rob Kane was going to be classified as out of this race. We'll get ourselves one more look at it from our aerial coverage, but Rob Kane's race seriously is done. Just having a look through to see if anyone else will be affected in that one as well. We know at least 1 car was involved in this, and this was all the way down in towards that turn corner, Sunset Bend. It's the line we can take, the corner where you can take so many different lines. And here you can see Kane, bottom of your screen now, that number 135 car alongside of him into the corner, and well, Kane really did come off the worst of that, but Sten Storhus is also going to be classified as out of today's event. Back out front, Miko Nassi continues to lead the way from Philippe Leber. The gap between these 2 drivers, well, it's 6 tenths of a second right now. It's got that ticker running along the top of your screen. Gap between Leber and Daniels. That's half a second, but then you've got yourself a nice 2-second cushion from Rio Daniels to Mayor Redding. He currently runs himself in the 4th place. So rounding out your top 5 is Kevin Vaughan. And we'll get a look at the biggest movers and shakers in this event so far. You can notice that you've got a couple of drivers, Purka and Williams, both up 3 positions now. Of course, they will be helped by the fact that they were had themselves an incident a moment ago. But we have a look at Ricardo Farah down in P number 6 as he's scrapping it out through Bishop Corner down in towards turn number 15. They come once again. Farah is batting it out with Kevin Vaughan. This is the battle for P number 5, P number 6 on the exit of Le Mans. They'll work themselves right about now. And Farah looking aggressive, looking good and strong in the early part of this race. Further back, you can see Brian Dahl battling out with Freybolt Superrun, and they work themselves now down towards Sunset Bend. Let's ride along board, and let's get that speed chart up for you. Brian Dahl is at this stage already a couple of kilometres an hour up. You can see that gap has now come down to 2 tenths per second, 1 tenth per second, as Dahl not quite close enough into Sunset Bend. We don't repeat, although Dahl's going to get himself a good run through the centre of the corner. That will allow him to drive off, but he now pushes wide on the exit as they work themselves down towards turn number 1 once again, but Dahl running himself in P number 11, Philip Superman at the rear end of your top 10. Leber now under pressure from Daniels. This is that ongoing battle for P number 2. As last time by, it was a 2:24.9 for Miko Nassi, a 2:25.1 for Philippe Leber, and a 2:25.2 for Matthew Daniels in this ongoing scrap for position. Although Leber does look strong, he's got to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes, especially during that pit stop phase of the race. He's been so close to winning races all season long, and last season we were going on board with Kevin Vaughan, but Leber needs to make sure he gets every element of this race done perfectly. As there behind Kevin Vaughan, you've got yourself now, you'll just see poking out in a moment might be Jonas Purka as they work themselves down through the hairpin. And there's a very good look at these drivers as they come down in towards that hairpin corner now. It's too wide. Purka's going to look down to the inside. He will get that position made over the number 51 cars. In the corner exit, that is Jonas Purka passed by Hogemeade. Now Hogemeade will have David Williams for company as they head themselves down into turn 10 once again. Williams down to the inside as they work themselves down in towards turn 10 to Hogemeade. 2 positions lost in the space of as many corners pretty much. So you see a good passing opportunities at this stage of the race. David Stefani battling out with Paul Malokas. This is the battle going on for P number 12, P13, as they work themselves now down into Tower Corner, the 13th corner on this racetrack. So 3 laps now scored complete, 13 laps remaining in the Skip Barber 2K World Cup. Ricardo Farah going to have a bit of a scrap going on now with Mayer ready as they work themselves now through the S's. Let's ride then along board with that driver of Ricardo Farah. Down the back straight away, down towards Sunset Bend they come, and you can see Farah's going to get himself a good run. He's going to look down to the outside, so work themselves down in towards Sunset Bend. This one looks academic for Farah initially, and now he will get that drop. He will get himself up in position. That is past Mayer already, does Ricardo Farah, although he pushes wide on corner exit. That's going to be 1 position lost. That's going to be 2 positions lost potentially as well. That number 33 car looking to make it go 3 wide down towards turn number 1. Who's going to be the beneficiary of this one? You can go 3 wide in this car down in towards turn number 1, but you've got to be careful as they sweep themselves now down into that first corner. It will be the winner. It's going to be Mayer ready at this stage of it, and indeed, you actually know we turn that one back. It's going to be Kevin Vaughan with a better run off the corner. This is no Vaughan will stay in P5 for right now. Jonas Purka up into P number 6. He's having himself a great run. So we go on board with him. You can see already up 4 spots in this event, trying to crack inside of that top 5. Further down your field, you've got David Williams strapping out of Bart Hogemeade. This is down in through turn number 6. Big Ben into the hairpin, into turn number 7. Ahead of them, you've got yourself an ongoing scrap as Purka looking down to the outside of Kevin Vaughan there, and this is down into the hairpin. Kevin Vaughan, will he be able to hold that inside line? Yes, he will, for the time being at least. We've got to look from the rear of him. In fact, though, you are going to have Purka looking to his outside as they come down in towards turn number 10. Can Vaughan hold it off then? Into the corner they come, side by side, battle for position, and Kevin Vaughan is going to have that inside line. That is generally going to be better for him, but his next corner is a left-hander. It's a fast left-hander, and now you can see Kevin Vaughan will lose that spot to Jonas Purka as they work themselves through turn number 11 and 12 one more time. And wow, it's a nice little scrap going on in your mid-pack right now. This is a scrap going on from P number 4 all the way through to P8, and they can see Bart Hogemeade really this pack, although David Williams has caught up to it as well. He currently runs in P number 9, and this gaggle of cars, well, they're no more than 8 seconds behind your current race leader, which remains Miko Nassi after 4 laps of this event have been scored complete. Let's look then at your race leader of Miko Nassi, and there's the gap. It's static at about 6 tenths of a second as drivers head themselves down in towards Sunset Bend for what will be their 4th time in today's event. Just having a look as the drivers now come down into that corner, and well, Leber is not putting that pressure on in the early going, so there's not going to be too much issue there. We know these drivers like to be strategic in the first part of this race. Pit stop window is somewhere between lap number 7 and lap number 10, so we are still a couple of laps away from that pit window being open. That will open in about 2 laps time, as we get a look from our aerial coverage down in towards turn number 1. These drivers come once again, although they've got side by side as well. Vaughan going to bat out of Purka as they come down in towards turn number 1. Who will the winner be? They're going to go 3 wide in towards turn number 1. And Reddy will be able to hold off. And Purka is going to be the one who loses out the most there. Because Friday Farah will now be down to his inside on the exit of turn number 1 into 2. Although Purka, nice move there. Nice cut back in towards turn number 3 they come. And I have to say, Purka is really being aggressive here today. As he continues to bat out with Kevin Vaughan. Out of the corner he comes. And they are still side by side. Although Purka has now been able to get that car ahead. He is now up another position. There you can see right behind is the driver of Kevin Vaughan as they work themselves down into the hairpin once again. We have, by the way, got ourselves another driver potentially out of the race. It's Paolo Zeroni actually. He's now just coming back onto the racetrack. He made himself an early pit stop, 12.5 seconds. He's coming back out. He might need to stop again in that number 72 car, but it has got itself serviced until I'd say the final lap of this event. Back to your race lead. It's closed up a little bit further back. There you can see the ongoing scrap going on for P4 all the way down to P number 10 almost now, because Brian Dowell's catching up to the rear of this group. But even further back, you've got Brian Dow and Fabot Subram. They are scrapping it out. This is for P number 10, P number 11. As they can see, the last lap time for Brian Dowell, 226.258 is a 226.402 for Fabot Subram as they now work themselves down in towards Tower Corner, turn number 13, as they put themselves. This will be lap number 6, which they'll scored complete this time by. As back up through your field, Kevin Vaughan, we saw him a moment ago, being dropped there by Yunus Purka. They are still going. This is still scrapping it out for P number 5, P6, and the issue for Vaughan is he can't try and make too bold a move and be pushed wide. He will lose another 2 positions, and that is exactly what he doesn't want to have happen to him as they now work themselves down this back trailer. We can see the cars wiggling, screaming for position. We've got a car all the way down to the inside. That is Yunus Purka trying to go all the way down to the inside. He will force his way up into 4th position on the racetrack as they come down into Sunset Bend. Purka going to push into the inside line, and you've got the number 194 car, and Mayo Reddy taking the ultra high line. We talk about being freight trained. This is what happens to Reddy. He's been passed by 1 driver, by 2 drivers. This will be the 3rd here as the driver of Ricardo Farah will go past in that number 15 car as they come back down in towards turn number 1. Once again, side by side, nice little scrap going on for P number 6, P number 7, but Reddy really did lose out quite substantially in that one as Ricardo Farah remained side by side as they work themselves now down in towards turn number 3 once again. There you can see Ricardo Farah in that number 15 car getting pushed a little bit wide there. Wiggle simultaneously from the number 194 car of Reddy as they work themselves now out. And you see Farah's going to go wide again. This will cost them the opportunity to make a run as they work themselves through Big Ben. We cycle that camera around. You can see the number 51 car, Bart Hogaby, has now been able to get himself past Ricardo Farah. So that little incident has cost Farah at least 1 position. It's going to cost him another one because David Williams now goes down to his inside as they work themselves into the hairpin. So that's 3 positions lost for Ricardo Farah in the space of 1 lap, even half a lap. He was up 2 spots overall. Now he'll be classified as being down net 1 spot in this event. Even further down your field, look at this. Dustin Kessinger battling it out with Joe Miller. Gap between these drivers is just about half a second right now. But Mika Nassi still got company. It's a 3-horse race out front. Fabot Subran, has he had himself an incident? Yes, he has. Fabot Subran, he's gone off the racetrack. Let's get ourselves a replay of that one. There we are, running on board with Fabot Subran. This is down in toward turn number 10 even. And well, you can see it beating and banging. That is David Williams just ahead of him. Subran coming back onto the racetrack goes Williams, and Subran just being forced into the wall there. Nothing Subran could have done. Williams is having his own incident. We get ourselves another look at that one. Williams is having himself his own incident. And unfortunately for Subran, who's just collected in the crossfire. There you can see David Williams working himself. This is with Ricardo Farah, the battle we were showing you just a moment ago. They work themselves into this corner here. We'll try to slow it down for you. You can see there was a little bit of contact going on between these two drivers. They head themselves down in towards turn number 10, and that pushed David Williams wide. And at the point he just came back onto the racetrack, that is what happens. Philippe Leber, by the way, has just moved himself to the race lead. We'll try and get ourselves another look at that one as David Williams goes off, and then here we can see, we'll zoom it back up. It's very difficult to steer on this grass. Williams coming back onto the racetrack, and there is Flaybolt Subram having himself an issue. Miko Nassi has just come on towards pit road by the looks of it, just having himself a look, as we do believe, yes, Miko Nassi has pitted early. He is currently scored on pit road, so let's then get a look at Nassi as he's going to complete his service in 14.3 seconds. He is back out onto the racetrack. Also on pit road, you've got Paul Malokas. He is currently there in his pit box, getting himself some work done. Number 15 car of Farah is out of the race by the looks of it. He's got even more drivers now coming on towards pit road. Malokas pit stop time, 14.9 seconds. Fahim Atinides is on pit road. You can see even more cars on pit road behind him. Atinides pit stop time, 12 seconds exactly, as he now comes back out onto the track. As Joey Miller will come out and away in 12.7 seconds. Dustin Kessinger and the number 23 car just completing his service now as we get a look at these drivers on pit road. 14.5 seconds for Kessinger, and for Marcel Seedorf, 13.7 second stop. And what that means is, well, Philippe Leber is now officially your race leader as we get ourselves closer to the halfway point in this event. And there's the gap between himself and Matthew Daniels. It is 4 tenths per second as Leber heads himself down in towards Bishop Corner, down into the S's once again. So no, that was lap number 6 onto 7 that for the driver of came on towards pit road. But now Philippe Leber is going to have to try and push this one out, I think, if he wants to gain himself the advantage. He doesn't want to fall into the same trap as he said, race after race after race. There is Miko Nassi on the exit now of Tower Corner, so there you can see an appropriation of the gap. And on the screen, we'll get that graphic for you. It is currently 32.6 seconds. A battle from P11 all the way to the front. Nassi has made himself a pit stop. The driver of Leber has still got to do so as he works himself out of the final corner. Will he hold the ultra tight line and coming towards pit road this time, Brian? The answer is going to be no. He will stay out for another lap, as will Matthew Daniels. So it looks as though you've got clear early and late pitters as Reddy is going to go side by side there. Too wide, too deep out of the final corner. Will any of them come on pit road? Yes. Burka will come on pit road this time, but there'll be 3 of them that come on, and 1 driver will stay. That is going to be Bart Hogemeade in the number 51 car. He storms himself into the 3rd place for the time being, but don't forget, all of these drivers will have to make some form of stop at some point during this event. So Purka led a group of drivers on towards pit road. Now he is into his pit box. There you can see it's also Kevin Vaughan is on pit road. David Stefani, Peter Clayson, they are on pit road as well. But the driver on May already, let's first of all pay attention to his pit stop as he will be back out and away in just 1 moment's time. Purka is already away. He has done himself a 12.2 second stop, so he's got himself a bit of clean air there. Out and away is ready in 14.8 seconds, 13.9 seconds for Kevin Vaughan. So Purka gaining an advantage of about 1.7 seconds on that pit stop. As further down your field, you've got Peter Classam on pit road, 15.1 seconds is his pit stop time, as Mike McCormick is just about to complete his service, as is that driver of Rich Jones. They'll both come back out onto the track in just 1 moment. McCormick there, 16.4 second long stop for him. Much quicker for Rich Jones. He leapfrogs him as they work himself onto the track. Once again, Rich Jones a 13.5 second stop. Leber then leads this race. Daniels in that 2nd place. Let's ride on board with Matthew Daniels as they head themselves on this fast run out of Tower Corner down towards turn 15, 16, Le Mans. Just a couple of attempts in it, and Matthew Daniels has had himself a great run so far at just being able to be there in the mix come race's end. He's having himself a good little scrap once again with Philippe Leber as they come down now from the Ullman straightaway in towards Sunset Bend. Will either of these drivers attempt to come towards pit road this time by? Notice the different lines that are taken by a lot of these drivers. Some will run high into the corner, then drift it down low. Others will start low and drift that car up high. As Philippe Leber's on pit road, and Matthew Daniels reacts there. He comes onto pit road simultaneously. So 2 drivers onto pit road at exactly the same time. I don't think Daniels wanted to be left out to dry as the 2 drivers now work themselves down towards their pit box. Now it'll be interesting to see where Labour will be as a number more drivers are coming onto pit road. You can see Williams onto pit road, Down onto pit road, Hogemeade on pit road, but the important situation is this one. The pit stop time for Philippe Labour, as he's going to get himself some fuel to get him to go to the end of the race. We need to find out where Miko Nassi is, as actually Nassi's going to work himself past start finish line, but Daniels will be the first one out of pit road by the looks of it. It's going to be mighty close, but Matthew Daniels wins the race out of pit road. Then it's going to be Philippe Labour, and there is Miko Nassi. They're going to be separated by literally inches. They come back out onto the track. Does Labour, Nassi all the way down into P number 3, but none of these drivers were in that position as they work themselves onto pit road. It is all changed. Nassi, from leading the first 6 laps of this race, is now down on that 3rd spot in this field, as Edward Cavalier just making himself a stop at the rear end of your field, as is Johan Halberg, as they are both going to complete their services in one moment's time and then come back out onto the racetrack. So it's a pretty empty place now on pit road. Almost everyone has made themselves their pit stops here today, but down to the inside goes Miko Nassi over the driver of Labour. A little bit of beating, a little bit of contact there as they come out of the corner. It will be Miko Nassi who claims the position, but that one wasn't the cleanest manoeuvre we have seen all season. Philippe Labour has already dropped back. It's 1.2 seconds. He has dropped back already. Let's try and get ourselves another look at this one then, as drivers head themselves down into the hairpin, and we've got the wrong camera angle there, but we can maybe slow it down here. Let's see, do they make contact down into the hairpin? Nassi on the inside, Labour on the outside, and Philippe Labour is going to, I think they just made the slightest amount of contact. They were clean through this first part of the corner, then on the corner exit, I think it's right here. There we are, right there. Philippe Labour just getting himself pushed a little bit wide over that high curve, and that is the reason why he has fallen back. We'll get ourselves one more look at that one. From on board with Labour, he is pushing. That gap is now down to 1 second. We got ourselves another look at this one then, as they work themselves now down through Big Bend in towards the hairpin, turn number 7. Well, Labour hasn't had the greatest of luck so far in this season. It doesn't look as though it will work out for him again. Notice the late lunge down by Nassi onto the inside. They come down into the corner. Labour sees him coming, leaves himself a lane open. Then through the corner, they are side by side, and it's right here I think Labour just got himself a little bit caught out. I don't think there was any contact, but Labour has fallen back. He is closing, but currently it is Miko Nassi actually back to the race lead. So Nassi has been able to take that one away from Matthew Daniels. He does lead the way once again. So Nassi now leads this race, and Matthew Daniels will try and get ourselves a replay of what happened that pass for the race lead. But Nassi is your leader once again. As here you can see a pass there by Miko Nassi, went around the outside down into the S's. Incredible stuff there by Nassi. We'll try and get ourselves another look at this one from on board with Miko Nassi, show you what transpired for him. But he said at this particular point in time he was down in P number 2, and then he just got himself a much better run out of Tower Corner compared to Matthew Daniels. That gave him the opportunity to slingshot down into Bishop, turn number 14. At this point, it's Nassi who just takes that inside line. Look at the way he forces his way through. But Miko Nassi heads himself back to the point here in the late stages of this event, sweeping by into the S's. He is once again your race leader, as Rob Adams is on pit road making himself another stop. As you can see, he will come back out, and he is all the way down in the 18th spot as he works himself back out onto the racetrack. And Paolo Zoni on pit road as well. Last couple of drivers then to make themselves pit stop. You've got yourself Johan Halberg. He is on pit road as we speak. But here then is your battle for the race lead with 6 laps remaining. Matthew Daniels running in P number 2, capturing himself, and Miko Nassi is 4/10 of a second. A little bit further back is Philippe Labour, just half a second. You can see the times are almost interchangeable by your top 3 drivers as these drivers come down that fast run through Bishop's Corner once again, and this time by Daniels nowhere near close enough to make the move over Miko Nassi. He does look to be in a league of his own. Down the field, it has got himself a little bit more spread out. You can see Kevin Vaughan and Bart Hogemeade scrapping it out. This will P number 5, P6. We go along board with that driver of Bart Hogemeade. We will step aside for just one moment, ladies and gentlemen, but we will be back after this. We will take you RaceSpotTV side by side.
has officially begun.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Philippe Leber is now back up into the second place, getting himself past Matthew Daniels, and now it's Leber who tries to charge towards the front. This is exactly the same as these two drivers were before this sequence of pit stops. So even though they came out in completely different positions, they are back to that status quo. Your biggest movers inside the top 10, while Brian Dow is now up at 6 spots as he runs himself in at the 8th position. There you can see him as well on board in that number 6 machine. The Canadian driver down towards the hairpin. He comes once again. McCormack and Jones, they are each up 11 spots in this race so far as they head themselves out the hairpin down towards tail corner. They come once again. But it is all about 2 horses right here. 3 horses because Leber and Nassi, they have fallen back. So Leber and Daniels have fallen back. I take them back even from the rear of Miko Nassi. We go along board with Daniels, pushing himself a bit wide there on the exit of Tower Corner. The run down towards Bishop. Leber, the gap is now 1.1 seconds between himself and the race lead. At that point, he might well lose a draft. This is going to be devastating now for Leber. He's going to have to start defending from Daniels as well, as he does look strong on the exit of this corner. We go right there with Philippe Leber on the exit of Le Mans, working himself down towards Sunset Bend via the Ullman straightaway once again, but that gap now up to 1.2 seconds as Nassi just beginning to stretch his legs. His last lap time, a 2:24.797. Leber was technically faster at that previous lap, but now you can see down to the inside will go Matthew Daniels. Daniels there moves himself back up into P number 2. Although Leber is going to work himself on the outside, who will be the winner? The answer is realistically going to be none of them, because they've now dropped back another half a second from the rear of Miko Nassi as they come down into 1 once again. This is the last thing they would have wanted, because now they are passing themselves to P2 and they have no chance really to go for that race lead unless Miko Nassi makes a mistake. Another look then from on board with Matthew Daniels, as by the way, Leber was able to keep that P2 as they work themselves down in towards Sunset Bend. They can see Daniels on the inside, although it's going to be Leber. He gets himself a much better run on the outside of the corner, and that is the reason why he is still scored in that second position. As Daniels now, you can see Leber easily clear as they come down in towards that first corner once again. Down in your pack, you got yourself Bart Hoganmead and Kevin Vaughan. They are scrapping it out. We talked about Bart Hoganmead already in this race. We talked about Kevin Vaughan in this race. Well, they are separated by just about 3.5 attempts of a second as Vaughan riding on board of him, trying to chase Hoganmead down as they come down in towards the hairpin. That is turn number 7 once more. These drivers have now completed 12 laps. There are only 3.5 really to go, as Vaughan's going to get himself a good run there because of the fact that Hoganmead's going to push wide. That means we're going to get ourselves Kevin Vaughan now up into that 5th position. And it was just a little bit sloppy there for Bart Hoganmead. And that was on the exit of the hairpin. We've seen drivers do this one before as we ride on board with Bart Hoganmead. This is on the run to the hairpin then, as he just pushes wide on the exit of the corner. And that is going to allow the driver of Brian Dow to, sorry, this is going to allow a driver to go past him as well. You can see Hoganmead just pushing wide. That will allow that number 33 machine of Kevin Vaughan to just push past him on the exit of the corner. Hoganmead now down into P number 6 and under pressure from Mayer Reddy, who was very good in this race earlier on, has seemed to have dropped back as that battle for the race lead is now up to 2 seconds, and re-rider on board with that driver of Mayer Reddy into the S as they come once again. They're down to 3 laps almost to go as Daniel's going to try and size up Leber one more time into that final corner, and no, this time by Daniels will just stay in line, although he is now 2.5 seconds almost behind your race leader. There is a look at the live tick, and it's 2.3 seconds as they head themselves towards start finish line. 3 more laps of this event to go, and it does look as though that himself and Leber, by going side by side 2 laps ago, they have given themselves away the chance to go for your race lead here today. Hogan Vaughan, that one's still going on as these drivers head themselves towards the stripe once again. Here we can see these drivers, 1, 2, 3, down to the inside will go Hogan on Vaughan, and this time he will get that position back, or will he? On the exit of turn number 1, we rattle on board with the driver of... this is the driver even of Hogan, as that number 33 car of Kevin Vaughan remains ahead of him into the apex of turn number 3. Hogan taking a tight defensive line, although Kevin Vaughan is able to pull back out in front. These two will pretty much be guaranteed to be side by side as they work themselves into the hairpin once again. Nice little scrap going on for P number 5, 6, and May already is there in the wings as well. He's currently scored in the 6th position, though Hogan wasn't close enough that time by to make a pass to get himself up one position. You can see he closed it down to just 1/10 of a second, but that would have been a late lunge at best as they worked themselves down into that hairpin section of the racetrack. Other outstanding battles you've got, well, you've got one going on right now between Brahim Atenides and Paul Malocas. It's half a second separating these drivers who go on board with the driver of Malocas. And so far in this race, he has moved himself down one position, starting in 13th, is now running in that 14th spot on the racetrack. Brahim Atenides, just ahead, is up 8 positions. We talked about how miserable his qualifying was. He has been able to do it a little bit better in race pace, now up inside of your top 15, although Paul Malocas is going to work himself alongside as they come down into the hairpin, and Malocas is going to make easy work really there of Atenides as they come down into the hairpin. Nice simple pass for Paul Malocas. He barely had to think about that one as he now pushes Atenides down into the 14th position on the track. Further ahead, you've still got yourself Bart Hogan and May already. They are scrapping it out still for P number 6 and 7. We work ourselves along board with that driver of May already out of the Ullman Schroeder. And you can see they're all still playing that game, trying to break the toe as they come down in towards Sunset Bend. Turn number 17. It's that turn which is so difficult for these drivers, but the run into the corner is going to be pretty critical as it's going to be Hogan and Vaughan trading positions once again as they come down in towards the final corner. A lot of this is figuring out where they need to be in the final lap to make the pass. Vaughan comes out behind Hogan on that occasion, and Reddy was thinking about trying to move down to the inside in towards turn number 1. Let's have a look. Will Reddy think about doing it? They're going to be side by side into that first corner once again. The NOS Energy car on the outside. They will go 3-1 in towards turn number 1, and Reddy backs out of it at the very last moment. The number 51 machine going to spin it around there. That is Bart Hogan spinning it around through turn number 1. And well, what was a great little scrap between 3 drivers now just becomes a 2-horse race. Let's get ourselves another look at this one then. This was on board with Bart Hogan. And notice, down in towards turn number 1, they go 2 wide. And then right here, Reddy will make it a 3 wide situation. But just listen there. Is there any contact? None at all. But Hogan is just going to loop it all by himself there, as Reddy does just breeze past him. No drivers looking as though they're going to hit him. Hogan is very lucky the way he spun there, that he didn't cause any incident for any other drivers. He does back it into that Armco barrier though, probably out of frustration more than anything else. And it looks as though his day is going to be classified as done. Here is Mikko Nassi. A lap and a half left to go for him now as he works himself on the exit of Tower Corner, working himself towards Bishop one more time. That gap between himself and Philippe Leber, well, it's now up to 3.1 seconds in the closing part of this event. Leber is not all over though between himself and Matthew Daniels. It is a quarter of a second between these two as they come down through this sweeping section of the racetrack as we go behind them with Philippe Leber, and there's Matthew Daniels just stalking him, waiting for the perfect opportunity, which will likely be a late move in the final lap of the race. Further down, Vaughan Remedy, that one is still going on. 6 tenths of a second separating those drivers. They are the last outstanding battles we really have now on the racetrack. We're down to 2. The battle for P number 2 and P number 3. And this battle that we see here on your screen, the one between Kevin Vaughan and Mayo Reddy, where there's about 7 tenths of a second separating. Although Reddy, he's got himself a good look at the draft. You can see once again, Vaughan is just trying to break that toe whatever way he possibly can on that run into Sunset Bend, although Reddy was knowing exactly where he needed to put that car. Last lap then for Mikko Nassi as he comes down in towards turn number 1. There is Philippe Leber in the second place, and right behind him, Matthew Daniels. When will Daniels try and make a move? Will he do it in towards the hairpin? Turn 7, maybe turn 10, maybe catching out for a surprise in 13, or would he wait until that final run through Sunset Bend? to plant that car to the inside to try and find a way past the driver who has been the bridesmaid in this series so many times, not been able to win an event so far, has Philippe Leber, and it's always been due to the times around pit stops. And it's been incredible fun to see these drivers so far today. And don't forget, we're with you all season long here on RaceSpotTV. Mayo ready versus Kevin Vaughan. This one will go down to the very, very end as the gap is about half a second as they come out of turn 5 through Big Ben for the final time. We have got ourselves another battle developing as well. This is going to be between Edward Cavalier and Dustin Kessinger. As Ready, not going to be close enough as they come down in towards the hairpin. But let's go back to look at Matthew Daniels. We know that he's going to be stalking. We know he's going to be looking for an opportunity. They're now in turn 10, now into turn number 11. This is Collier Corner. Just another 7 corners to go in this event. We know that Miko Nassi is pretty much guaranteed himself the win, but who will take that silver medal position here today? Will it be Philippe Leber or will it be Matthew Daniels? As we have a look from the rear of Leber as they come down now towards turn number 14, Bishop's Corner. Your other outstanding battles can confirm that Vaughan is still ahead of Reddy and Kessinger is still ahead of Edward Cavalier as they work themselves one final time. Then we go on board with Matthew Daniels as they work themselves down into Le Mans Corner. Miko Nassi, however, onto the Almond straightaway for the final time, in towards Sunset Bend for the final time, and he has been absolutely dominant here as Daniels a little bit further back, 2 tenths per second. You can see there, background drivers all looking for position. Daniels going to look to the outside in towards Sunset Bend. Who will be the winner in this battle? We'll have a look in a moment because Miko Nassi will work himself out of the final corner. He will claim victory here. Second place, it looking as though it's going to be a drag race to the start-finish line. The winner of that one, I think it will be Leber getting it at the line. Yes, he will. Daniels in third place. Further back, Ready, while he's drifting all forms of ways there through the final corner to try and get himself past Kevin Vaughan. He's not able to do so. He remains in P number 6. And down in your field, Dustin Kessinger, Cavalier, they are still working themselves side by side right now. Although Kessinger has lost that position to Edward Cavalier. Let's get ourselves then quick couple of replays on this one. We start with Matthew Daniels, and this is that run. You can see Daniels looking down to the outside. He had to go in towards Sunset Bend, and when it came down to it, Matthew Daniels, it looked as though he had himself a good run for the time being. It's a bit bumpy on that inside line, of course, for the driver of Philippe Leber, but out of the corner, Matthew Daniels trying to close, and as they came to the line, it was Leber who had it by about a third of a car length. And further back, let's go back and have a look at this battle between Edward Cavalier and Dustin Kessinger. It looked as though it was all academic in the end. Edward Cavalier just finding his way past. Now he's down into Collier Corner, turn number 11. And from there on, he was able to hold on and claim that position. So he moved himself up into P number 13 on the final lap of this event. Let's get ourselves a look at your final race results here from the Skip Barber 2K World Cup from Sebring. Miko Nassi claiming victory, fastest lap of the day as well, 2 minute 24.600 as he stormed away after pit stop to claim victory from Philippe Leber. Came home in second place, able to hold off Matthew Daniels, and the gap at the line, just 5/100ths of a second. Jonas Purka in P4 with Kevin Vaughan in 5th. Great drive by Jonas Purka, moving himself all the way up through the field. Then Kevin Vaughan in 5th, Mayor Reddy in 6th, Brian Dowell, David Williams, Peter Clayson, and David Stefani rounding out your top 10. Further back, Paul Malocas in 11th, Rich Jones in 12th, Rob Adams in 13th, and Marcel Zedel in 14th, Edward Cavalier, Paulo Zeroni, Dustin Kessinger, Hikam Crady, Joe Miller, and Fahim Atinides rounding out your top 20. And then finally is Bart Hogamy, Mike McCormack, Owen Hellberg, Ricardo Farah, David Tubran, Staines Dorhorst, and Rob Kane, who complete your field. One driver didn't start this race. That was the one of Warren Landman. We'll step aside for just one moment, ladies and gentlemen. We shall be back after this message. You're watching RaceSpotTV, the home of some of the biggest sim racing events in the world. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to RaceSpotTV, where it was the driver of Mikko Nassi who claimed himself victory this evening. Philippe Leber came home in the second position, and he is stood by. Philippe, good run. You were, well, right there in the mix out of pit stops, but it looked as though Nassi was just so strong on that final run to the flag.
Yeah, Mikko is just too quick. He's half a second faster than anyone. So I just was hoping to stay in his draft and try something on the last lap, but at some point we lost the draft, and yeah, well, then it was a fight for second position from then on.
Were you expecting the driver of Matthew Daniels to be battling you that hard, knowing that you were still in a three-way battle for the race lead? And how frustrating is it to be in that situation, to see that race leader pulling away from you?
Well, when Mikko retook the lead, Matthew was behind him and he was losing the draft. So I tried to pass him to stay with Mikko, and then I made two mistakes in that next lap, and I was 1.3 seconds behind, and well, I messed it up myself. So it was very frustrating to see him disappear in the distance.
And then that final run to the flag, 5/100ths of a second when all was said and done. Were you thinking that the inside line was the best one to take? Of course, the tighter radii does mean sometimes that you lose exit speed out the corner.
Yeah, I tried that a few times. Sometimes, well, this week, sometimes I was on the losing end of a battle. I knew that staying on the inside and blocking off the inside for the second apex was always working. So I tried that, and it worked because he couldn't outrun me to the finish line.
Well done coming home in second place here today. As we've also got Matthew Daniels, who came home in the third place. And, well, Matthew, it was that close at the start-finish line.
Yeah, really close. Shame about that. Would have been nice to come second, but oh well. Third place is good. I'll take it any day. Yeah, I figured towards the end of the race, yeah, to not try and pass Philippe until the very last lap, because I figured if I got past and then the last lap came and I was ahead, he'd probably be able to get back past me. So I thought, wait until the last lap, go for it, try to pull it off. Didn't quite make it. Oh well.
Well, it was close, but take us through the battle that you had with Philippe with about 5 to go, which allowed Mikko Nassi to pull away. Were you expecting to run side by side for so long? And in reflection, would you have wanted to have stayed behind him, potentially allow it to be a 3-horse battle to the race end?
I'll tell you what, actually, I was deliberately trying to make a move in order to make Philippe and me drop back a little bit, so that Philippe would lose Mikko's draft and I would have a better chance at snatching second. Sorry, Philippe.
Well,
That's nice.
Of course, it's been a good result for you here today. We will see you in 1 week's time over at VIR. We've also got the opportunity to have a chat with Jonas Purka, who's been our biggest mover in the field here today. Jonas, what a drive it's been from outside the top 10 to being solidly, and I mean absolutely solidly inside it, eventually coming home in the 4th position.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. Well, it was pretty normal for me because, to be honest, I'm not that great of a driver. You'll see me coming like back to the field like Juan Pablo Montoya used to do in Formula 1, and it's because I suck in qualifying. Let's get it straight. I suck in qualifying, and then in race I find my pace suddenly, and in this race, well, I just found my rhythm suddenly. I found a half a second somewhere, so I don't know what's it all about. And I was in the end kind of hoping that Matthew and Philip would start fighting more when I started Mikko getting away. So Mikko getting away, and I hope that Matthew and Philip will fight more, so I will have maybe an opportunity to catch them if they will fight for the last 6 or 7 laps side by side and all that stuff. But just didn't pull it off and ended up with my, I think it's my 3rd, 4th place now. So you can call me the Janne Ahonen of Skip.
Well, of course, we go to VIR next week. It's a track where you've got to be patient in the first part of the lap. You can overtake in the second part. Do you think that it's going to be more difficult for you to move up positions, though, compared to this week?
Well, I've been able to do it pretty much anywhere because we have such a tight field. I don't know if I'll be actually racing next week or not, but if I will, then I'll be looking to improve my qualifying, improve my single lap pace, and just general raw pace instead of racing. And I will try to start definitely in the top 5 of the field or top 7 of the field even, so I have a chance to get in that lead back right away instead of having to fight tooth and nail for it.
Well done. P number 4 here today, Jonas Purka. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our webcast of this, the Skip Barber 2K World Cup from Sebring. We'll be back in just 1 week's time as we take the Skip Barber 2K World Cup to VIR. We stick it in America now for a good number of weeks. It's a packed schedule, of course, here on RaceSpotTV. Monday Night Skippies is tomorrow. Champions of the Futures World Touring Car Championship from Monza is on Tuesday. Then we've got ourselves the STC Blue Cup on Thursday. ISOWC IndyCar action on Saturday before we see you same time, same place in 1 week's time. This has been a RaceSpotTV presentation then of the Skip Barber 2K World Cup. Myself, Paul Vincent. We'll see you all in a week. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.